Today I will show you an amazing 15 minutes daily routine to master the vibrato. It's something I developed over the last 10 years with hundreds of adult students. It will allow you to improve your vibrato quickly and sounds really beautiful, even if you struggled in the past and feel frustrated with your vibrato. Exercise 1 will focus on helping you learn the right vibrato movement, the first step to mastery. Exercise 2 will allow you to increase the speed of your vibrato day after day, so that you will soon have total control over it. And exercise 3 will allow you to implement vibrato into your pieces, so that you can sound truly beautifully. So let's start first with a silent vibrato exercise without the bow. Because it doesn't matter how much you practice vibrato, if you are doing or learning the wrong movement, it will not work. So there is two things that you need to learn first, and that's actually what we are teaching our students in the level 8 of the Violinacademy. The first thing is that you need to do the movement with the whole arm, like that. For that, our first exercise will be just this. You will hold your violin normally. You will make sure that you make a straight line with your arm from your elbow to the tip of your finger. And then you will make sure to put it here. By really making some sort of V, you want the violin to rest on this V, like that. And then the exercise would be to move the whole arm up and down on the fingerboard like that. Like you will do later if you were doing shifting. And you want to do that slowly and focus on moving the whole arm from the elbow. And making sure that while doing that, you don't move the wrist or the fingers. Because the first vibrato you should learn is the vibrato with the whole arm and not the wrist vibrato that is way more difficult to master. And then, when the movement is clear, you want to do it a little bit smaller. That means something like that. Just over a few centimeters. And then you could do it always a little bit faster. The most important thing here is to really feel that everything is completely relaxed. And that the violin rests freely in your hand. And instead, if you are trying to do that and you feel that you can't move it, that means that you are gripping the violin from both sides like that. And that's why you can't move it. That's why that's the first requirement, to make sure that the violin is free on your V. Now the second movement you need to master is the finger flexibility. Let us first look what produces vibrato. What produces vibrato is that the tip of the finger is rotating on the string. It starts with the finger bended like that. And then at the end of the vibrato, my finger is flat on the string. And then it comes back round again. That's what you can see here. Finger is bended, finger is flat, and because of that, the note is changing and producing the vibrato. But for that to happen, your entire finger needs to be flexible. For that, you will hold the tip of your finger. It could be any of your 4 fingers. So let's start with the third one. You will hold the tip with your right hand. And then what you will do is that you will move the hand back and forth like that. So the entire arm, you want to move it like before, like that, but you will hold the tip of your finger with the right hand. And what you should see is that your finger will expand and contract each time, being flat and bent, flat, bent, flat, bent. And you should really feel that the finger is completely relaxed and bending the whole time. Then you will combine both movements. You will take the violin again, take the right posture, put the third finger on the string. It's the easiest finger to start with. And at the same time, now you will do the movement with the whole arm like we did, but the tip of your finger will stay fixed on the string, so that when you move your entire arm, the finger will become flat and then bent again. It should look like this. And make sure to check that everything stays straight with your arm, and the only thing that should change its form is the finger itself, by bending. And what you don't want to see is the finger moving on the string like that, okay? This was for the first exercise, but you don't want to do that now. You want to keep it on the string, just rotating on the string itself. So now you will have the right movement, but that's not enough. Now you will need to really play the movement in the right speed and control it. And that's why the second exercise we'll do is the vibrato acceleration exercise. Here, what we will do is increase the speed of our vibrato in a systematic step-by-step way, so that you can have a fast vibrato that controls and sounds great. And actually, learning step-by-step is one of the most important concepts. And if you watch our free violin masterclass that you will find on our website, you can register for free with the link below this video. That's what you will learn, how to learn the violin step-by-step. And here, that's the same with the vibrato. So here's the exercise. So the first thing is that you will use a metronome, that's a metronome, and put it at tempo 60. You can find multiple apps for the same, you don't need to buy one, there are multiple apps. It's called a metronome. You put it at tempo 60, like that. And then the next step is that you will play this exercise. So let me explain what it is. So when the stem line, that's this here, is showing up, that's when you play the normal note, the normal A. So here that will be the first finger on the G string. And when it's showing down, that means that your finger will be flat on the string, like that, producing a lower note. And you will alternate like that by playing the right note, then the flat note, one per beat. Now let me demonstrate. At the same time, like you can see here, you will play 4 notes per bow. Okay, that means right note, flat note, right note, flat note, 4 in one bow. So let's demonstrate again. While doing that, you want to make sure that your movement is without any interruption. That means it should not be. Instead, it should be one continuous movement without any interruption, like that. And you want to clearly hear that the tone is moving up and down like that, in waves. While doing that, make sure that everything stays aligned like in the previous silent exercise and everything is relaxed. Then, when you're ready, what we'll do is that just we'll make this movement faster. Instead of playing one movement per beat, we'll now do 2 movements per beat, like you can see here. That means for every beat, I'm doing a complete movement, starting from the right note, then going down. Right movement, down. Right note, down. Again. And then you will do the same with more movement. The next one will be 3 movements per beat, like that. Okay? Always 3 right note, flat, right in one beat. Then flat, right, flat, right. Always, like you can see here. And then you will do 2 entire movements per beat. That means each beat I will play the right note and the flat note 2 times, like that. And that's actually already fast enough for the vibrato. But that's not finished. And by the way, if you are a really beginner, I will advise first to put the metronome a little bit lower. Not at tempo 60 like I did, but at tempo 40. That's 30% lower and way easier. So after that, you should now be able to have a great movement for each finger. The problem is that it will still be very difficult to implement that into your pieces. That's why you need the vibrato transition exercise. That's our third part for today. Because when you play a piece, it's not like here when you just play the same finger for 30 seconds in a row. Instead, you need to play multiple notes after one order, and sometimes quite quickly, yeah? Maybe... And this vibrato needs to be without interruption between every note. And that's why we'll do now 2 small exercises. The first one is that we'll use very simple 2 note exercises. For example, this here with F sharp G. So we'll just play F sharp G in half note first, very slowly. And the whole time we'll just focus on keeping the vibrato uninterrupted, because that's the biggest mistake. What people do is that they play like that. But then it doesn't sound nice when they play a piece. And at the same time, they are very slow, and that's what it means is that they can only vibrate note in pieces when there is like the last note that's very long. But when there is multiple notes after another, like here in the bar air, then they can do it because it's changing too fast. That's why we start first in a half note, but then we want to move to quarter note. That will make like this. So here there is a very important secret for making that works. That the vibrato is not done with the finger, but with the entire arm. What it means is that when you are switching finger to go from one note to the next, there is no interruption because the vibrato doesn't happen here really. It's done here. That means that as you are switching your finger, you want to continue doing the same movement. Okay? I'm doing that and I move one finger. Then I continue doing the same, but I move another finger. And I want to try not to stop my movement. And that's actually something you could train without a violin. Just doing that and then switching a finger. Second finger, third finger. Second finger, third finger. Without stopping the arm to change the finger. Here on the violin. And when you have mastered that, you could try it in eighth notes. Now you will be able to have very good transition from one note to the next, but still it's a little bit limited. That's why the next step is to do the same on some bigger exercises like 1 octave exercises. For example, what I just showed was the kind of exercises we give our students in level 1, week 11. And now for the next one, that will be more something we start giving in level 3, week 1. So this is basically a standard scale. For that, what you do is just that you start with the D open string, then you play the first finger, E, second finger F sharp, third finger G, A, B, first finger, C sharp, second finger, D, third finger. And for each note, you will have the second finger pattern. That means that the second and the third finger will be together. And then you will do that with vibrato. The same as before, trying to keep the vibrato uninterrupted. And for the speed, really start in half note, that means one note every 2 beats, one note every 2 seconds. So now we are how to implement the 3 exercises we saw today in the 15-minute routines. First, for the first few weeks, I will advise doing only exercise number 1, the silent exercise, for 15 minutes. You could do that every day or every few days. Then, when it's working well, you will add the second exercise to it, that was the acceleration exercise. At this point, you could do the first silent exercise for 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes of the acceleration exercise on 1 or 2 fingers only. After a few weeks, you could add the third exercise we saw with the 2-note exercise, or the 1-octave exercises. And at this point, you could really spend 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes on each one. And as you move on, in a few weeks, do really only exercise 2 and exercise 3. And by the way, be patient. I'm sure you can learn to play beautifully with a beautiful vibrato, but you need to do that step by step. And before you do that too, something you should do is make sure you have a beautiful sound. And I show you in this video how to do exactly that.